Hi guys, Kevin here. In my last video I spoke about the best vlogging cameras for YouTube, and the two cameras that I talked about being at the top of the food chain are the Canon G7X and the Sony RX100 series. Now there's a new version of the G7X coming out in a few months, and there's a new version of the Sony RX100 that's probably going to be announced about June 2016. The thing is, I think the biggest difficulty for people facing a decision as to what to buy just now for the RX100 would be which version to buy. Sony are quite unique just now in that they still sell all four versions of the camera, and that's not usually what happens. Normally when a company, they release a new version of a camera and then they start selling off the older units at cut price, and then the only version they sell is the newer version of the camera. But that's not what Sony have done. All four versions can still be purchased and they're still sold on Amazon and the official Sony stores, and it presents a bit of a difficulty for those who want to buy a camera because you're spoiled for choice. So one of the big things between them is price, and it's something that obviously comes, it's a big factor in your decision. So I'll give an example. In the UK, for example, I know there's people watching from Europe, Australia, America and things like that, but in the UK, the RX100 sells for about £250. So that's the first version, that sells for £250. The second version is normally around £350 to £380. The third version, which is the one that I'm recording with just now, that goes for about £550. And the latest version, the Mark IV, sells for around £750. Now you can pick up these cameras cheaper if you buy used. You go to eBay or you buy refurbished. You can get some great discounts on these cameras. There's more discounts if you buy the later versions. So for example, when I was looking at the RX100, the Mark I, it sells for $250 new, but this is still selling for about $200 second hand in the UK, whereas on eBay, the Mark III sells for about $550 new, but second hand in eBay, the prices tend to be towards about £380, £400. So you're saving a lot more money, but that makes more sense. There's more depreciation when you spend more on an item. The thing is that you may be surprised at how good the video is in early versions of the RX100 series. There's a lot of comparison videos on YouTube that show you the difference in quality and 1080p recording between all four versions, and there's obviously an improvement with each version, but it's not as big as you would think. They all have a 1-inch sensor, they all have a bang-inch processor. The later ones have a faster processor, but they all are very capable devices about recording 1080p video. So there's slight differences, and that's what I want to talk about in this video. So the original RX100, it's got a fixed screen at the back. It doesn't rotate or articulate in any way. It can do 1080p recording, XAV, I'll check that again, how do you pronounce that? XVC HD, I always get that mixed up. XVC HD at 28 megabytes per second. So that was the original version, and it's still a very capable camera. The second one introduced a few things, the RX100 Mark II. It's got an articulating screen, but it doesn't go all the way around it. It really just articulates about 40 degrees like that. It also introduced NFC and Wi-Fi, and the biggest thing would be that it added a hot shoe adapter. Now the hot shoe adapter was a big addition at the time, and it's quite unique because Sony introduced it in the Mark II and then they took it away in the Mark III. So it was quite unique. It allowed you to add a flash and all these other accessories, but the main accessory for me from a video producing point of view was the microphone. And there was a microphone called the Sony ECMXYST1M. I'm not expecting you to remember that, but you can kind of see this here on the camera. So this, it was an external microphone. You put on the hot shoe, and two microphones. You could face this way or it could go that way. So you could face the person, or you could get like ambient sound of the room. And the good thing about it is it had a mic out port so that you could put in an audio recorder. Now, because that had that external microphone, that was one of the reasons why I was considering the RX100 Mark II as the best version for me, because the ability to improve the inbuilt microphone is a big seller. Audio, like the microphones in cameras that are built in, they're never good. They're okay, but being able to produce a more high quality audio from well, just from a portable device, it's going to be much, much better. And it makes the RX100 Mark II arguably the most versatile version as far as recording video, because you can improve the audio so well. The thing is, what led me away from that was, well, there was a few reasons. Firstly was that if you look at the pictures of the RX100 II with this microphone on it, it makes it a really big device. So it changed the RX100 from being quite a portable device to quite a large device. So if you're needing to use an external microphone to improve the sound, and you're going to be putting this microphone on the top all the time, it kind of makes you think, why don't I just buy a bigger camera? You know, something that has an external microphone port built in the first place. The other thing would be that I checked reviews of the microphone, and the microphone still sells. It's discontinued, but it still sells for quite a lot of money. And it's not got amazing reviews. It's got okay reviews, but it's not like this is a top of the line best microphone you can buy. So you're kind of forced into buying a Sony microphone, and it's not the best version you can buy. But for me, the biggest issue was that I'd be buying it and then using it with this external microphone put on the top, you know, the hotshot microphone. And it kind of defeats the point of buying a portable camera for me, especially if you're going to be using it all the time. I do realise that you can just have it optional, you know, you can use the camera as, use the built-in microphone whenever you need, and then you've always got that option of using the third-party microphone, but the official microphone, sorry. But for me, I kind of led away from that, because I thought that if I was in an environment where I had to record better audio, then I thought that it'd be better to just use an audio recorder. I could pick up, for the price of that microphone, you know, it retails for about £100 or so in the UK. I could buy a portable audio recorder, I could put it in my pocket, and I could just put a lavalier mic on me, and then I can sync up things afterwards. That is for my situation though. If you've got a different situation, you might prefer to go with the Mark II because of that, because of the versatility you're going to get from getting a better microphone on the camera. The Mark III, it was released a year later than the Mark II, and one of the biggest things that added was the tilting screen. At the moment I can see myself, I can see my shot because of the screen goes all the way 180 degrees, and that's one of the biggest selling points of the RX100 series. And I think that's when YouTubers really started paying attention to the RX100 as far as this could be the perfect vlogging camera. You know, the screen goes all the way up and you can see what's in your shot. I did a few other things as well. One of the things was it added XEVCS at 50 megabytes per second, so basically it allowed you to record at a higher bit rate, so the quality of your 1080p recording was a little bit higher. That one, the Mark III, Mark IV also have a BIOS X processor instead of a BIOS processor, so it's a tiny bit of a better processor, so it's going to be marginally quicker with things as well. But I think the rotating screen was the biggest selling point for people producing videos. It's just unfortunate they had to take away the hot shoe, because it would have really made the Mark III the perfect device. But what they did was they took away the hot shoe and they added an electronic viewfinder. It's a cool little electronic viewfinder. It pops out, so it's great from a photography point of view, but you kind of lose that versatility of the hot shoe that the Mark II offered. The Mark IV was the version that was released in 2015. And as I said, it's very expensive. In the UK, it's about £750. In America, I believe it's about $1,000 or more. And that introduced, the biggest difference was that added 4K recording. It also added XEVCS recording at 100 megabits per second, but the 4K recording was the big selling point. Everyone's wanted to record in 4K to try and future-proof their videos. And it also added slow motion recording at 240, 480 and 960 frames per second. Now, all of this sounds amazing in paper, and that is why I initially purchased the Sony RX100 Mark IV. I purchased it from eBay, and then the eBay seller wasn't happy with the price, so he decided not to sell it. When PayPal were, you know, during the dispute, there was like a week or so before I got my money refunded. And during that time, I kind of took a step back and I looked at whether the Mark IV was right for me. And when you actually look at the added features of the Mark IV, for me, it wasn't really worth the upgrade. I picked up the Mark III, a used one. It's grade A condition though, from the company CEX. It was only £320, And the cheapest I could see, the Mark IV, was about £560 second hand or £750 brand new. Now, you do get the slow motion video and you do get the 4K video recording as well, but the slow motion video, the 240p looks great and the 480 looked good as well. Looked okay. The 960 frames per second, it was pointless. The quality was that bad, it kind of defeated the point of adding it. But the 240 and 480p slow motion video was really good. And I know slow motion video is it's a really cool feature. It's something you get with GoPros and, you know, Sony action cameras and things. It's not something that I really cared about, and that's why it was not something that was selling me on the Mark IV. If you're looking for slow motion video in addition to that, and you do want the latest and greatest camera though, you would obviously lean towards the Mark IV. From an actual like device point of view, from a size dimensions, the Mark III and the Mark IV are almost identical. It's really just on the inside that they've changed things up, and in many ways the Mark IV is a Mark III Part 2 in a way. You know, they've upgraded a lot of things on the inside and they've not really messed too many things about with as far as the screen and like, you know, like the previous versions. But the 4K recording, that is what led me to think, no, I need the Mark IV. I need the Mark IV in my life. I need this for recording videos for YouTube moving forward. I want to record 4K. But there's a big but. But there's a but. The 4K recording can only record up to 5 minutes, and then the camera has to stop, and it's really because the technology isn't there yet for a 4K recording device, you know, that small as far as this camera. After 5 minutes you need to stop. I've seen a lot of people on YouTube and they say that you won't even get the 5 minutes. They spoke about, you know, after 4 minutes the recording will stop, and then the camera needs to sit for a few minutes to the CPU cools down, and then you can start recording again. So like these kind of videos that I'm doing here, a lot of the videos that I do, when I start rabbiting on and I start talking to the camera, they can go 9 minutes, 10 minutes or 15 minutes long. So I'd probably, if I bought the Mark IV, I'd really just be doing it to future-proof myself, and I wouldn't actually be using the 4K. So it led me to think that the Mark III would be the best version for me. The Mark IV though, with the 4K recording, I think, you know, if you're going to be recording clips and you're going to be doing short clips and you need 4K, I would definitely go for the Mark IV, definitely. But for me, the type of clips I do, I know that I would end up going back to just recording in 1080p all the time. So it kind of defeated the point of spending £100 more for a feature that I wasn't going to be using most of the time. Probably 95% of the time I wouldn't be using 4K recording. So I think when it comes to the 4K recording part of the Mark IV, I think the Mark IV was a transitional camera. It was a transitional period where Sony are trying to figure out how to get the most out of this 4K recording. Now the Mark V is going to be announced in a few months, and I think that 4K is going to be one of the big selling points for it, and it's going to be one of the biggest reasons for people to upgrade. And I think that's my phone charged somewhere. Now I'm hoping that the 4K is going to have perhaps 15-minute recording in the latest version, or perhaps even 30 minutes recording. I hope they figure that out. But for the moment, I think personally, for me, for my situation, for my needs and recording on YouTube, I think that the Mark III is the best bang for buck. It's future-proofing me a little bit, you know, as far as the features it's got. The tilting screen is awesome, and it's got everything that I want. And even when I go on a holiday, the little electronic viewfinder is going to be really, really handy. So just recap just now. If you are looking to produce videos on YouTube, if you've got a Mark IV and you've got a Mark I, you're not going to see a massive difference in quality. Not if you're recording in 1080p. People will disagree with me on this, but if you look at the comparison videos between each of these cameras, you know, as far as the videos that they produce, you're talking slight differences with each version. So there comes a point where, you know, if you're going to be just using a camera like that and recording, if you don't need a selfie screen, if you don't need a hot shoe to put on an external microphone, then the RX100 is probably your best bet. You can pick up in the UK for like £250, and I've looked at Amazon, it's similar prices in America in that it's about a third of the cost of the latest version. Now that is a huge saving, you know, that is an absolute massive saving. So I would say, you know, don't pay for features you're not going to use. See, I mean, I've fallen into this trap as well sometimes where, you think you need the latest and greatest, but you don't. The RX100 series has kept its value for a reason. It's held its value in the marketplace because it's still a functional camera, and for producing videos for YouTube, the RX100 series is still a fantastic option. If you don't mind, if you're used to a camera having a fixed screen at the back and you don't need it to rotate, then you're just going to be recording like this, or if you're going to be just setting it and then running around to the other side of the camera, or just taking shots of your kids or your family and things like that when you're out, I would lean towards just getting the RX100 series because it's the Mark 1, sorry, because I think it offers tremendous value for money, and you can get fantastic bargains second hand for them. Now the RX100 Mark II, their screen articulates a little bit, but I think the biggest selling point, aside from the Wi-Fi and NFC and that kind of thing, I think the biggest selling point would be the hot shoe. If you're looking to add this microphone, and it does improve the audio significantly, and it does have a mic out port for you to connect an audio recorder, then I would lean towards the RX100 Mark II, and the reason being it's the only version in the series that has a hot shoe adapter, and it's the only version that gives you the opportunity to add an external microphone. So from a video producing point of view, the RX100 Mark II is very unique in the series in that it has a hot shoe, and that allows you to put on another microphone, a better microphone with a mic out port. Again, as I say, for me, I think that the physical attributes of putting a big microphone on top of the camera kind of defeats the point of having a portable camera in the first place. But if it depends on what your needs are, because if you're going to be using the camera 60-70% of the time, you need something portable, but then from time to time you do need that improved audio, then I would say the RX100 Mark II is the best option for you. The Mark III is the one that I'm recording with just now, and I can see myself in the camera because of the fully articulating 180 degrees screen. That goes all the way from normal, all the way flips up so that I can see it, and it really is useful. I will say that it is useful. I didn't think it would be, but it really is useful to have that when you're recording. It saves you a lot of time having to run back and forth between the camera, and it really is fantastic. If you're going to be walking around vlogging, having that screen really makes a difference. As I said before, I think the RX100 Mark III is the best bang for your buck at the moment. Things are going to change up in a few months' time, but at the moment, I think the RX100, if you look at the price points, if you look at the features, if you look at the functionality, the Mark III seems to be the one that, it ticks all the boxes. If you do want 4K and the 5K limit doesn't bother you, or if you just want to record in slow motion at 240 or 480 or 960p, go for the latest version. If you've got the money, go for the latest version, because the features offered in the Mark IV, they are great. It's just, for me, they're not functionality. It's not features or functionality that I need. But if you want slow motion, you want 4K recording, you're not bothered about this 5K limit, I would go for the Mark IV. If you're watching this and it's not far away from June 2016, and you have money to burn, you might want to hold off for the Mark V. The one thing to note is that when this camera comes out, it's going to be expensive. It could be like £800, £900, could be like $1,300 in the US. It's going to be an expensive camera, but if you really need 4K in a portable camera and you're willing to wait, then you might want to hold back a couple of months and then look at what the RX100 Mark V has to offer. You may have noticed that I've been referring to the Wikipedia page. I'll put this link in the comments area below because it does have a really good comparison table that shows you the differences, with the sensor, with the processor, with the video recording format and all that kind of thing. So I'll put a link to that down in the comment area below, and if you've got any questions about any of this, please do ask in the comment area. I'll do my best to answer them. I'm not an expert on cameras, but I have done a lot of research on the RX100 series because I did buy one. So please do ask a comment below and I'll do my best to answer them. And if you've enjoyed the video, please do consider subscribing or liking. And if you've got any ideas for a future video, please let me know. Thanks for watching, guys. Till next time, take care.